It is absolutely stunning here. Oh my God, I'm so glad we came.
Yes, this is one of my favorite spots on earth, I think.
Yes.
So we're in Robert Ray Vineyard. We're in the Santa Rita Hills off of Santa Rosa Road. We're, about 3/4 of a mile up above Santa Rosa Road.
Uh-huh.
This is all west facing. So if you look out this way,
Right.
this is sort of the Santa Rita Hills. So
Okay.
right through there, there's the center of the valley, and then these little sort of hills form the Santa Rita Hills. And so there's 246 and Santa Rosa Road on the Santa Rosa Road side. This is a really wonderful 12-acre vineyard, all organically farmed, family owned, farmed beautifully by a dear friend now, Chris King, and Nikki and John own this. You know him?
That's Deanna's wife.
Yes, yes, exactly.
You know,
A very
Prosecco.
small world. Flowers, eggs, all the
Yes,
produce.
yes.
Yeah, at the farmer's market. Absolutely.
yes.
She's actually one of the episodes.
Oh, awesome. She's terrific. Oh my God.
Fantastic,
How
yeah.
fun is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and so the beautiful thing is it's a smaller vineyard. We for us we get 5 acres total, but these 4 plus acres are Grenache, Mourvedre, and Roussanne, and I sort of call them the 2 lungs, and they go to us. So we
The two
two
lungs.
Lungs,
the two
yeah.
sides. And so it's all west facing. The soil is very dense. We're a little more elevated, so we get a lot of lovely sun exposure, which
Finally.
we really need right now.
Right.
And so I love coming here because every year we sort of negotiate experiments that we're going to do in the vineyard because we have this time and this energy and this intimacy here. And so last year we did a pruning trial. This year we were going to do an irrigation trial, but we had tremendous, beautiful rain this year, so we didn't need to sort of do an irrigation trial. And so we'll kind of restart again next year. We are doing a little bit
Depending on the weather.
Depending on the weather, we are, but even then, like when we did the pruning trial, in a whole new season, that's the one crazy thing about grapevines in particular, right? What might apply here doesn't necessarily mean it's going to apply and have the same result even across the street or down the way or over in Ballard Canyon or in Happy Canyon, because there's just too many variables. There's too much noise to create an exact experiment, and so you can't, right? The soil here, you can try and exact it somewhere else, but still everything is different. The environment, how the water flows, the
ecosystem,
the
microclimates.
microbial, everything about it is totally different. So it's really a specific case by case basis. Yes, there are general philosophies of farming, etc., and sometimes all bets are off. So in a vintage like this year, so now we're September 19th, we've decided, right? So this is why it's so unusual. So here, so here we have a grapevine. This is Mourvedre. So this is Mourvedre. So one, we've had a lot of shatter this year. I don't want to overcomplicate things for you guys. But the fruit set here looks good, right? And at this time of year, this should all be purple,
Oh, wow.
right? This is never going to get purple, right? This
So
is
when
never
would you
gonna get
normally, I mean,
purple.
in a normal harvest, when would you start picking?
We picked this Mourvedre last year, 3rd week of October.
Okay.
So in general, right, everything being like, oh, it's 80 degrees and everything's kind of okay, even Steven temperature. The idea is you progress, you accumulate one sort of brick is our measurement of sugar, 1 brick a week. So let's say if now it's September 19th and last year we picked October 21st, let's say. So that means at this point, this should all be colored red. It won't be it'll still be tight like this is, but this should all be red. And then, in another 4 weeks, we'll probably get to where we need to be to get the sugar. This is never going to get there. That's never going to get there,
So
right?
then can I ask a question?
Yes.
So then would you, is it something feasible for you to take off the
Yes,
unripe
so you'll
grapes
come
that
through
you
and
can
be
let
like, that's done because it'll never happen.
Right. So there's
Right.
Oh, so you don't the other
This will
gra-
never make it into the fermentation bin. This
So
won't
then
make
None
you
of it.
take it off so that you can let the other grapes get the sun, kind of.
Well,
pruning.
we have good exposure, as you can see, right? One
Right.
thing that I requested is that we expose the fruit zone. One, it was a cold year. Two, because we're in the Santa Rita Hills, we do have a lot of mildew pressure, right? Fog comes through, it's been really moist. Particularly this time of year is like our strongest mildew pressure. Even though it's supposed to be the warmest, it's also the most humid because we're finally now sort of getting some warmth. So so that's the thing. We have good. I mean, our crop load isn't that big, right? These are new vines. You can see we grafted these. This is the second year of grafting, fourth year of vine life, and so like this will make it. Like this is better.
Mhm.
But this is also a huge ass cluster. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to say a bad word. But you know, so you can taste it. I'm like, okay, well, a little tart, but in 4 weeks, if this weather stays like this will accumulate enough sugar. Just a lot of unevenness throughout this system. And so at some point, when you see there's too much unevenness, you're going to have to come through and take off the uneven, because when you're harvesting, you're not at 3 a.m, you're not going to be like, oh, God, that looks a little green, I'm not going to pick it. It's all going to go in that
You
bin.
pick at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Everyone picks at night because it's cooler. It's cooler. You have a lot of work to accomplish. It's cooler on the grapes. It's cooler on people picking. Yes, you're up and you're tired. It's also for a very short period of time.
Do all people pick at night?
Most people, particularly in Santa Barbara, and most people in California, for the most part, in large grape growing regions, pick at night.
Oh,
Yeah, so you have lights that come through. And that's relatively new-ish, maybe 10, 15 years.
yeah. 'Cause I don't
It's
mean.
been a slow transition. Before you would start early in the morning. But let's say you only have, let's say your crew is 30 people and you have to pick 5 vineyards.
Right.
You got to move from vineyard to vineyard. So by the time you get to the 5th vineyard and you started at 6 in the morning, you're not going to get there till 1 in the afternoon.
Too hot.
The fruit's already warm. They're going to pick when it's warm. The crew's hot. The fruit's going to be delivered to the winery. It's going to be hot. Which again, in Europe, hardly anyone picks at night. And
I was going to
everything
say,
is totally fine. Like everyone
Yeah.
survives. It's totally okay.
In Provence, where I grew up, there were vineyards all around, and during harvest time, everyone picks.
I was just in Macedonia, as I mentioned,
yeah.
a week ago, and it would be Sunday afternoon at 5, at the heat of the
Yeah,
day,
heat of the
like
day.
warmest, and they're picking fruit and bringing it to the winery, and it's fine, right? Like it's fine. Everything is fine. It's just
A different way.
if you had a preferential possibility, what would you choose? That's what sort of, and also it's really a lot of it is sort of how much can you accomplish in the short period of time.
So you're
right?
picking at night with light. So yes, so you wouldn't necessarily see that a grape. That the cluster
When
is.
you're moving fast, right? So let's say now you're getting ready to harvest, and it's 4 weeks from now. This is bird netting. It comes down. All you see is the grapes, and you're like boom, boom, boom. You're picking, you're putting it in bins, and you're putting it away.
So once
Right?
it gets
so
to.
I'm not examining the fruit at that point.
Okay,
And
but
no one picking is examining the fruit.
but once it gets to
Me,
the
the winery.
the winery, then you go through everything and pull out the.
No.
No, so even the things that are not.
How do you know if it's in the middle of a half-ton bin?
Oh no, that's what I'm. So that's why. That's how.
But then you have 30 pounds of very unripe fruit in the middle of the bin. It's
Yeah.
Right.
going in.
So you
It's
pick.
don't
So
know
you wait. So you take off the underripe fruit before you pick.
before you pick, so it doesn't go in the bin.
Okay.
Again, you're trying to set everyone up for success. I don't expect someone picking at 3 in the morning to be like, "Oh, let me examine this fruit." You want to go through and get through it, and so that's how we sort of tackle that beforehand.
Right. So, so in 2023, there are a lot more female women-owned wineries, winemakers that exist in our world.
Yeah.
What are the challenges, or what were, or do you have challenges as a woman working in this industry?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. One, we could say physical challenges, right? in the winery, moving barrels, doing all this stuff. But we have equipment that alleviates that pressure for us, right? In Santa Barbara, I will say, yes, we have a lot of women winemakers and women winery owners compared to other parts of the world and in California. And so much of it, I think, is we have such an entrepreneurial spirit in Santa Barbara. We have such an energy. There's a pioneering sort of spirit. We're established and we're not established, right? And so there's a lot to sort of be done. And I mean, I would argue in any area there's access points all along the way. And then it depends on sort of who's your example and what do you see, right? I've been doing this now for, this is my 19th harvest. So,
did you have any examples for you coming through?
I really, there were women making Kathy Joseph, Karen from Buttonwood, Chris Curran. I mean, those were the three primary, Lane Tanner. But we weren't hanging out, right? It wasn't like they were like, oh, let me take you under my wing, kid, and let me figure this out. Everyone was doing their own shit. Everyone had their own business to take care of, right?
You're working side by side, but not really even realizing there are other women in the game, perhaps.
Yeah, and so again, for me, the main issue, the main challenge for me, in my business, it's not so much wine. This could be tires. This could be cars, right? It's about being a self-funded sole proprietor. That's the primary challenge, right? Selling wine is the hardest thing to do. Making wine, farming, all this beautiful stuff, being in the vineyard, this is joy, this is romance. Yes, there's tons of work, of course, and it's heartbreaking. And once all of that's done, and now I have to say, oh, hello, person ABC through Z. I hope you like this wine, and will you please buy it?
Right.
How do I convince you to help me keep doing this system? And when there's no plan B, it's not like, oh, if this doesn't work, I'll just go over here and do whatever. I will say, during COVID.
Oh, that's that. Okay, perfect segue.
During COVID, I was like, you know what? I'm a really hard worker. There's a couple things. I have a ton of flaws, and there's a couple things that are in my favor. I'm an extraordinarily hard worker. I will outwork a lot of people. I have a lot of grit. Nothing's beneath me. I'll do anything, right? So I thought, okay, if no one buys wine again, if this is over, that's fine. I'll sell all the inventory. I'll let go of my lease. I will start working at Starbucks. People are always going to drink coffee. I'm going to start being a barista. I'll work my way up to manager because I'm good. And then I'm going to, at some point, a couple years later, I'll own a franchise, and then I'll just keep doing it. I'm like, there's a system there. They pay for you to go back to school, all of those things. You can get insurance. I was like, oh, it's fine. I won't be hungry. I can work and do something else. But it wasn't like, oh, I have this extra bank account that I'll just hang out with and do whatever. So every decision that I make is based on what's the feasibility of this possibility moving forward in the future.
So how did you pivot then throughout COVID?
Well, no one wanted to work.
Right.
And so it was me for literally 2.5 months. It was me every day at the tasting room. And it happened to coincide with our wine club shipment. I think it happens a lot for a lot of people. It's kind of the same. So I thought, okay, here we are. We're in wine club. COVID, we were shut down March 14th of 2020. Our wine club starts April 1st of April and October. I thought, okay, I didn't feel comfortable just auto charging everyone that you normally do. So I literally opened our wine club books and called every single person individually.
Wow.
I said, hi, how are you? How you doing? Doing okay? What's going on with you? Are you working? You're not working? How are you doing? We're doing wine club. How do you feel about it? I don't feel comfortable just being like, yo, I'm shipping you 6 bottles. You feel good?
Right.
Everyone. I would say 99.9% everyone was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear from you. Yes, please send me my wine. Please send me double. Help me. I can't wait. We can't leave. We can't wait to have your delicious wine. And that's sort of, so when it's just you with your wine club.
But look,
boxes,
okay, but that's hundreds of phone calls.
hundreds of phone calls.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a massive.
And that
We have
goes-
650 people in our wine club right
Wow.
now, and I called 650 people.
Well, I mean, that also goes back to the beginning of what we were talking about. The reason why you do this is not just for making wine, but it's the human connection.
It's the human connection.
And
Yeah.
the fact is this is your business. You stand by your business.
Yeah.
And you're the best advocate for your business. And the fact that you're willing to pick up the phone and speak to 650 people, I mean, mad props to you.
Yeah.
Well, also, I always say, like, I don't need your $20 that bad. Right? I don't need your money unless you want to engage in this conversation. I'm not going to take your money. I'm not going to, if you're going to have a bad experience, I don't want you to give me money.
Right.
I want you to have this experience with absolute joy.
Yes.
Because then it's joy for me to make this exchange.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so,
How you do business is important.
Absolutely how you do business
Yeah.
is important within every step of the way,
Yes.
And so that to me is the number one, that's the number one aspect of anything. And, again, I know that I'll find some food. I know that I won't be left with
Destitute.
nothing.
Yes.
Because I know that I'll go to the grocery store, I'll go to the gas station, I'll go to McDonald's, I'll go to Starbucks. Like, I will work and I'll be fine.
Yes.
And so that's how I sort of got through COVID.
And
that's
you-
sort of how I get through every day. Like, I think that I tell staff all the time, I share with them, anyone who walks in that door is an absolute miracle.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
Yes.
You decide to walk in, you're walking, I'm in McDonald's. Oh my God, let's go see what's happening here. And if you don't greet that miracle with absolute joy and happiness and a smile and how can we help you? What's going on? What's going on? How's your day? Join us. Let me show you around. You've lost an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because you have to now drive to Los Angeles. You have to do a lot of effort to get there. How many times do you go to the store and you're like, I don't want to buy it online, I want to actually go. And you go to the store and they're like, oh, we don't have it, but we can order it for you online. Then why did I actually make all this effort to walk in this door? And the whole point is if you're driving and you're building it up in the car, like you guys were driving along the vineyard, you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited to get there. You want the experience.
Yes. It is
Connection
all
and
about.
the human experience. That's
Absolutely.
the reason for everything that we do.
Yeah.
Everything, not just in the wine business, especially in every business. And I think that a lot of businesses, companies, they forget actually the human component of their business.
Absolutely. You are doing these fabulous dinners. You do these fabulous cooking classes. If no one knew what was in the cake that you made, or the bread that you made, or the tartane that you made, would it be more delicious or would it be less delicious? Right? I remember when Bell Street Farms was there.
Yes.
Jamie and
Yes.
Pat, and I love Jamie.
Yes, I love
People
Jamie.
would walk in after having lunch at Jamie's and they would be like, oh my God, I had the best chicken sandwich of my life. And I would say, did you really have the best chicken sandwich of your life? Like, line up all the chicken sandwiches of your life,
Yeah.
taste them blind. Like, would that be the best? Yes, it was delicious, but it was the whole experience.
Right.
Pat and Jamie and his joy and
Yeah.
come and help us. Like, you want that. You want to feel connected. You want to feel, and it's not false. And it's not arbitrary.
But you're
It's with
very
total
good.
joy,
You are very good at connecting with people, because I know when you do your social media posts and on Instagram, you're talking to people, and
The
your
newsletters as well.
and your enjoyment
It translates
of
over the
everything that
page,
you
onto
do.
the food
Yeah.
screen.
I do. It is fun.
And and the
Friday
taste,
night speaker series,
the
yeah.
Friday night speaker series,
Yeah.
which we have been part
Yes.
of, which we're
A
delighted
few
to be.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that started because again, when I first opened in 2011, it's sleepy now. It was way sleepy.
Yes.
Right? And so I knew that all the other businesses in town would close at like 4 or 5. And I thought, why are you closing at 4 or 5? People are just getting back to town at that time. And I thought, well, I'm my only employee. I have nowhere to go except here. I was open 3 days at that time, and then I was open 4 days. I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to close at 5, because then what am I going to do from 5 until the next morning? Wash some glasses and clean the tasting room? So I was like, I'm going to be open till 8. So I was open till 8, and everyone thought, you're crazy, And everyone kept saying, oh, no. You don't want chairs in your tasting room. You want people to come in, stand at the bar, taste wine, buy wine, and leave. And I thought, that's the opposite of what I want.
Yes.
Like, I want to connect with people. I want to hear their stories. I want to share with them. I want them to enjoy themselves. I want us to have a conversation. So I put tables and bars. And at that time, again, like, that was very avant-garde. People were like, oh, no, you don't do that. And now I think it's funny because a few years after that, even like 5 years ago, they'd be like, well, tasting studies show that if you have a sit-down tasting and experience, people are more loyal, they spend more money, etc., etc., etc. And I'm like, well, you needed a survey to tell you that, right?
Right.
So you're going to
It's
show
human
us.
nature to all of what we do.
You're going to show us your tasting room. We're going to
Yes.
go there.
We're
All
gonna
right.
show you tasting.
Okay.
We're going to go and have a look.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, we are in Los Alamos at the Casa Dumet's winery tasting room. Let's go and find Sonia in your fabulous tasting room.
Hi, I'm here.
So we've been with us is the whole operation we've seen today.
Winery, vineyard, now tasting space.
Now tasting space. I'm going to do a quick spin around the tasting room. So you've had this since 2011. Ooh, this is so you come from Macedonia.
Yes, and these are all family photos. So you get that question of, if you could have dinner with anybody in the world of any age, any century, who would it be? And I always say with my ancestors,
Yes,
So
to find out.
it's to see your efforts, all of your work, all your effort was not for naught. It's carrying on,
Yes.
and here we are. And so, we were just in Macedonia. So
Yeah. Oh,
this
let's have
is
it.
my dad's parents.
Uh-huh.
This is the old house where they live. Now there's a new house on this same location. This is some kids in my mom's village. He was quite fond of my mom. This is my dad's inside here
Yeah.
in their home for a wedding, a pre-wedding party. That's my dad right there at 13.
Oh wow.
And so it's just all kind of family photos. My mom on her wedding day, that's my grandmother and her sisters in Macedonia. This is on their wedding. This is a little dance. My dad in his village, smoking a cigarette, hanging out with his friends.
It's so great.
So yeah, they're just. It's valuable, a little Macedonian Oro dancing. It's really special to me. It's really important to me. It's a huge makeup of sort of who I am, that history, that legacy, all the work that they did. Being first generation, you guys know, moving to a new place.
Oh yeah, we're all in. Yeah,
Transplant.
we are all transplants.
You're sort of in between worlds for a long time.
Mhm.
How do you fit? And when you go back, you don't quite fit anymore because you've evolved and changed and seen new things. And so yeah, but it's you're 100% of everything that you are.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's the
Absolutely.
fun part.
Yeah.
So, next question. So,
I'm getting nervous at these.
No.
This is the fun part.
These are the fun part.
So, what is the one thing that you don't like to do, or you really didn't like to do, but that you've learnt to come to love to do now?
Oh gosh, big or small?
Anything.
To do with your business. To do.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't like to do is closing down the business. I like opening the business, but all of the closing tasks are sort of, you learn to love it. It's kind of like, I love filling the dishwasher, I don't like emptying the dishwasher. Right? All the work, all the prep, all the cooking I love, and then it's like, it's done, it's like, okay, that task is done, and now I have to, oh, you're not done. So yeah, currently this is so foolish. We just got some sofas outside on the patio.
Oh, we'll have to go and have a look.
And you have to cover them each night.
Oh.
And covering them each night is annoying. That's the one thing that's annoying. But everything else, I love cleaning, I love tidying, I love stocking, I love sort of organizing. It's a very concrete task. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you finish it, and then you move away. I have actually, on the bigger thing, I have learned to love paying bills.
Important as a business.
It's very important, and
Yes.
I do it all, and it's the idea of, I do payroll, I do all the bill paying, I work with a bookkeeper and an accountant, obviously, to just help with all the stuff, because there's so many variables, particularly taxing-wise, with wine and alcohol and government regulation. But I do like to know that I've paid that bill. So now people are like, oh, I didn't get that. I'm like, guess you did. I sent it on this day, on this day, on this day. So that is also very satisfying.
Yeah.
You know. So that's the one thing that I did not enjoy, and now I enjoy.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. So, what's the food or drink that you love that you won't admit really to eating or drinking? Do you have a naughty, guilty pleasure?
Oh no! I mean, I don't think of it as naughty or guilty. I mean, I love donuts. I eat donuts. I love cheese. I eat cheese all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you on the not feeling guilt about it.
I mean, so I will say I'm a very, very. This might be not the right question for me because I'm a very simple eater, just by nature. So, you know, French fries, I love French fries, and if they're there, I'll eat them. Potato chips, I love them, I'll eat them. I don't actually go buy them all the time, but if they're there, I have no problem just enjoying them fully. So yeah, there's nothing really.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Champagne I love, and I will overdo that
love that.
sometimes. But I'll admit that readily.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would you like to see as a food or a drink trend?
Oh gosh.
Anything you saw when you were traveling in Europe that you'd like to see replicated in a bigger version, or any ideas you've had that you would like to see, like, as a trend?
Yeah, I do love, and maybe it's just not a trend here, or not a trend. I love the idea of a regular, and LA does it, other places do it, outside, kind of barbecue in the park, walking down the street, eating a sandwich full of like French fries and cheese and tomatoes and a burger, and just kind of enjoying that very free outdoor experience. Street food.
Right.
Regularly. I love that. I love eating outside. I love eating on the go. I love informality. I love deliciousness with informality. So the ingredients and everything have to be perfect and delicious and ripe and awesome. And I don't need a white tablecloth. It's appreciated, but I don't need it to enjoy it.
Okay, great. What's always in your fridge at home? And what are the top 3 ingredients in your fridge?
Eggs.
And what would you make with them?
Eggs, omelets, and eggs all the time. Avocados are always on the counter, and then when they get a little too soft, we put them in the fridge. Yeah, always. I mean, our grocery list is silly. Milk, I drink whole milk, organic whole milk every morning. Orange juice,
Okay.
I love orange juice. So eggs, orange juice. There's always a huge hunk of delicious French feta cheese in there.
This is all good breakfast food.
Yeah, I mean, like there's always delicious bread. Those are like staples. Yogurt, always.
Great. If you were stuck on a desert island, potatoes or bread?
Oh, potatoes.
Okay. And why?
Because they're just, I love the starchy character of them. You know, seemingly if you're on this island long enough, you'd find a way to kind of create heat and ways to make them.
Yes.
So if you could bake them or fry, whatever it would be, I love potatoes with butter and salt is like the most beautiful thing ever.
Okay, last question is, if you had a fairy food mother, or in this case a fairy drink mother,
Yeah.
what would be your wish for your business?
That's a really hard question because
Is there something that you would like to do?
I would like to be able to reach more people,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily global. Like I don't want a global empire. Which, listen, I'm not against it. It sounds like we want to take you global. I'm in. But there's cost benefit to everything, so nothing is only in a vacuum, right? It's like
Yeah.
the concrete egg, like just to get texture, it also shifts everything else. So it's the same. So I could say, oh, I wish it was X. I wish that I didn't have to worry about what the next 10 years look like in terms of financial stability, right? And then I often wonder, well, would you make the right decisions based on that?
That's a very good
would
point.
you make
Yeah.
the right business decisions? Would you still feel the hunger in the game? Would you still feel the hustle? Would you still be as happy to see people? Would I be on vacation for 3 months out of the year? You know, I think that's the thing. I mean, stability is very important, but it doesn't happen in that way. So, yeah, I mean, you know, listen, I've been in Los Alamos, you know, at the end of 2023 will mark the start of our 13th year of actually having a business here. I think that is a very huge success.
Yes.
Right?
And
To
I mean, when you think of,
exist for that period,
Yes.
do I have a private jet? Do I have 10 cars? Am I living on the Riviera? No, I don't have any of those things, right? And that's okay, right? The fact that I get to work with people and meet amazing people and create
Yes, and create
hopefully
this-
a delicious product that people get to
it, no,
enjoy.
we can confirm that it is oh so
We can
delicious.
confirm.
You know, and you know, made with love and the utmost integrity, and I feel very good about sharing what we do, knowing all of the effort and the work and the honesty and everyone that's been affected along the way. I think that is a huge, huge success. So
Fabulous.
could you want other stuff? Sure. And right now, you know, I don't have anything to complain about except lack of sunshine.
That's what we need then. More sunshine.
Well,
More sunshine.
Well, thank you so
Oh my
much,
God, this has been a
Sonia.
delight.
This has been an educational delight
Yes.
and treat, and thank you for your generosity and time.
Aw,
Thank you. Maybe we can
that's
check back
amazing.
with you in a few weeks and
Please,
see.
please.
We'll have to have a little bonus video
Yes,
to see
yes,
what's happening.
Come back end of October.
A little
Hopefully
minute,
it'll
we'll
be
do a
full.
little
Yes.
mini-sode.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
mini-sode.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sonia.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
guys. It was
Absolute
awesome.
pleasure.
It was really fun.